Hi, I'm Amanda Park. I'd like to present to you a little bit about who I am and personally introduce myself in order to show how I can be a great leader and what you need for your district. First of all, a little bit about me, the introduction to my family. I am very family oriented, and my family consists of me and my husband. My husband is active duty Army and has served 18 years, all 18 years active duty. We have four beautiful children. Dakota is 14, Houston is 8, Natalie is 6, and Asher is 3. Asher is our miracle baby. He was born about 14 and a half weeks early, and we spent about 85 days NICU, and he's just strong and thriving today. My personal versus my professional lives. In my personal life, I'm very family oriented, as I said, and I grew up in a very strong and very close family. I grew up in Augusta, Kansas, and I did graduate from high school in Augusta. Now I've become an Army wife, and I've been an Army wife for 2 years and 1 month. And we have our four kids, 14, 8, 6, and 3. When I'm not at home or at work, the hobbies I love to pursue are softball, working out, I love to stay active, reading, traveling, and go Chiefs. We are avid Chiefs fans, and we do like to go to the games occasionally when we're able to. In my professional life, I gained my bachelor's degrees from Friends University. I was able to obtain a bachelor's in Spanish education, a bachelor's in English education, and a third bachelor's in Spanish culture and language. I then decided to stay at Friends University and pursued my master's degree, and I pursued a master's of global leadership and management. My teaching experience is quite extensive. I've taught for 13 years, and I did my student teaching in the Wichita School District at Wilbur Middle School. I then went on to Wellington High School for my first full-time position. I was there for 4 years. I ran the honors program for freshmen, and then I also taught freshmen and juniors while I was there for those 4 years. I moved on to Blueston Middle School High School. It's a very small district, and I taught Spanish for the 2 years that I was there, and that was for middle school and high school, so exploratory Spanish for 7th and 8th graders, as well as Spanish 1 through 4 for the high school. I also taught technology for both middle school and high school while I was in Blueston. I then moved on to Wichita Southeast High School, and I consider Wichita Southeast as my home since I was there the longest, and I feel like I made the biggest impact at Wichita Southeast. During those 7 years, I taught every grade level, and I also taught college prep classes as well. I then moved on to Junction City High School for 1 year. My husband had orders in PCS to Fort Riley, and that put us in the Junction City area. So while at Junction City High School, I taught junior English, senior English. I taught college classes as well, so Comp 1 and Comp 2 for those high school seniors. After my 1 year at Junction City High School, I resigned and took a year off in order to pursue the opportunity to become a leader in our buildings, as well as teach my own kids from home when COVID occurred. My professional thoughts and ideas: education is a business. Students and teachers are the customers, and buy-in is absolutely necessary in order to gain any type of profit. Professionalism is a key factor, and collaboration and trust are going to be established through value and vision, and those, of course, are established through leadership and active leadership. My philosophy of education: it's what you learn after you know it all that counts. John Wooden was quite intelligent. Human nature tends to produce within the human body this idea that it has learned all that it needs to know, and that what it has learned is absolutely everything. It is only the spirit of knowledge that is able to break this barrier, and it provides the education that really truly counts. Once the mind is able to comprehend that in comparison, all is merely nothing, it then grows this passion to really know everything. Although society has coined techniques and strategies such as MTSS, Common Core, challenge-based learning, the basics still remain the strong core of educating today's youth. After the basics have been mastered, then these new ideas and strategies have a better chance of success. In addition to the basics and the new strategies, Educators also need to enable students with these tools of independent learning, critical thinking and problem solving, and comprehensive reasoning. The manner in which these are taught will have a direct correlation to the manner and extent in which they are absorbed. Active engagement, creativity, technology, and ownership of education, these all spark a fire and a passion that will only enhance knowledge beyond Bloom's higher level of thinking. As an extension of daily education through curriculum, qualities of leadership, sportsmanship, life morals and values, self esteem, and the competitive nature of the human spirit, these are all achievements and directly correlated to education. These lessons aren't necessarily conducted and assessed through textbooks or recorded on paper through written verbiage. However, this essential piece of the dexterity puzzle is really the comprehension that success and achievement are earned through hard work and perseverance. Even though these are not curriculum objectives to be decisively taught, they are priceless and add a value to each life. The concept of success is only known to students after the expectation to succeed has been acquired. And if the right knowledge and skills are delivered, then this acquisition of skills becomes a tool that will enable students to expect excellence of themselves for today and tomorrow and absolutely throughout the future. My leadership philosophy. Well, first and foremost, let me go through my core beliefs about leadership. The thoughts and actions of leaders govern direction. A leader's philosophy is going to drive decision making, and that's really important. Leaders should obtain and retain value in their people, and they need to make sure that these people are the right people for the right jobs. Leaders need to establish a set of values, morals, and principles. And then not only do we need to live the example of these, but then these need to be expectations in our buildings. Leaders should establish a vision and a mission. And of course, when we establish these, it should be a collaborative effort. Leaders should establish parameters, not only live by them, but expect them. Leaders should be uplifting and give both credit and criticism where they're deserved and they are needed. Both of these are essential for the staff in our buildings. And then leaders must establish and maintain focus. It's essential for leaders to establish the parameters and the vision and the mission and all of the expectations. But then if we lose focus on what we've already established, then what we've established doesn't do us any good. And we have to maintain that focus. My core beliefs about teaching and learning. All students have the ability to learn. And many of our students learn in different ways, but this absolutely does not mean that they're not able to learn. And I'm actually not a big fan of the word disability because our kids are not disabled to learn, they simply learn in a different way. All students deserve the opportunity to obtain education that will enable their current and their future well-being and success. We need to put opportunity in the hands of our kids. And when we do this and they take hold of that, their futures will be successful. It is imperative to give students the ability to see their own value, and they need to do that through education in order for them to take ownership of their own education. And we need to help provide them the ability to see that value. Technology is an excellent tool, and I love technology. I'm a big fan of technology, and it should only assist in teaching as a tool. It should never be a substitute for teachers or curriculum, but it should be used to aid and assist with teachers and curriculum. It can be incredibly powerful when it's used accordingly. Data and statistics are vital. I'm huge and driven with data and statistics. These should be used by teachers to drive instruction and challenge students toward high expectations. It's okay to give students data and statistics on how they're doing. They're able to better assess how they're learning, how they're succeeding, and where they need to go. School environments should be one of passion for learning now and passion for learning for the future, and that's for all stakeholders involved. Learning takes place through failures and determination, and this is absolutely one of my favorites. And I love teaching this to kids. A school's culture should facilitate the ability to fail and then push forward through those failures in order to be successful. Core professional vision and values. For me, honesty, integrity are at the forefront. Reliability and consistency are important as well. And personal and professional continued growth. I am a big advocate of learning for a lifetime, and I personally do this on a continual basis. Effective and consistent procedures, both for teachers and for classrooms through our teachers. This is very important in order to establish a culture and environment in our buildings that provide for less need for discipline. A shared vision that creates a why for all stakeholders. We need to all be in this together, and we all need to have a why that tells us exactly why we're there. Into the actual philosophy of leadership. A philosophy is a set of principles and beliefs that govern our actions and direction, and it is made up of many different pieces. All of these pieces are intertwined and they guide us through various situations. Leadership is the ability to influence other people to create a movement towards a specific objective, an emphasis on inspiration. And leaders need to inspire through vision and motivate by example. I think both of these are incredibly important. Throughout the 15 years, I've enjoyed the journey of education. I have learned that the most important asset is relationships. As a classroom teacher, this was imperative in order to establish connections with my students. And this connection enabled me to reach students in a very unique way. This has the biggest impact on the success of students of any other educational tool or strategy. Personal connections break barriers and provide a means by which to truly educate our students. The importance of relationships and connections cross applies to the effective ability of leaders. As a classroom teacher, I also realized I had a tendency to work harder, prepare better, and affect more lives when I had a connection with and the support of my administrators. This also seemed to be the case for those with whom I worked. My coworkers responded and reacted in much the same way. As an educational leader, this is my most significant goal. Build connections through relationships with all stakeholders. Relationships will build bridges to all other goals and achievements. As a leader, I prefer to lead in a democratic, strategic, and transformational manner. The combination of these strategies, alongside my abilities, my personality, and my skill set, create an effective means of leadership and creates active success. To actively lead others, it is important to know their thoughts, ideas, and abilities. And for this reason, I will always seek to understand my staff and others through conversation, collaboration, and continued requests for input. While I may not always follow or use all that I receive from others, I will always consider the thoughts, opinions, and input from those around me. It's incredibly important. Although I am democratic on many fronts, I'm also strategic in nature. Consequently, I tend to be very data driven. Analyzing data gives a clear perspective of what has worked and what needs change. This creates a goal-centered framework and allows for the ability to improve classroom performance, teacher development, and collaboration through partnerships. With a strategic approach, I'm able to focus on both the high-level operations of the organization for smooth practices as well as maintain an oversight of my team. I will always seek to offer guidance and structure and assistance for my team. But ultimately, I am responsible for the way in which my team operates, performs, and creates success. Transformations are important, and leading in this manner is also important. When I look at some of the greatest transformations that have taken place throughout education during my years that I have witnessed as a student and then as an educator, one essential piece always held true. Active leaders of transformation always establish goals, strive and create pathways to conquer these goals, and then establish new goals to keep success active. As a leader who uses transformational practices to lead by example, I'm always seeking new opportunities for growth, ways in which to streamline processes and partnerships through relationship, and collaboration in order to provide my building's overall strategic abilities and success. In active leadership, it is essential to have others to see as an example, as a goal, and as inspiration. Two of the most influential educational mentors in my life have been Harry Wong. He is well known amongst all educators and the first piece of education most educators receive, and Doug Law. He was my principal in middle school and high school. He then became the athletic director and is now retired and is a school board member, all for the same district. Although I do not know Wong personally, through his books, lectures, and workshops, Wong taught me so much about relationships and how important it is to build these with our kids in our classrooms. He also helped me to establish consistent practices, norms, and processes for my classrooms in order to build and maintain a well-oiled machine. Whereas I was unable to personally consult with Harry Wong when I needed advice or had questions. I was able to personally have conversations, witness, and actively learn by example from one of the best leaders in the industry. Doug Law is the epitome of leadership, professionalism, and level-headed decision-making through collaboration and democratic tendencies. He has the ability to see situations from all perspectives and make decisions that are based in the notion that the decision was made because it is the absolute best for kids. And I strive to be much the same way. Success in schools will always depend on the active leadership provided. Simply managing the lives in the school building will not create a culture of success. Relationships, connections, procedures, consistency, and partnerships create a culture of success. While the school buildings have long been in their communities, we fail to see many communities inside our schools. And this lack of partnership creates a divide and does not aid in success beyond our classrooms. Is that not a big reason why we do what we do for kids? Do we not want them to seamlessly transition into the real world? The only manner in which this will happen is through relationship with the community and a well-structured partnership. When we provide guidance in our buildings that coincides with the outside world, we are better able to adequately prepare our kids with the tools they need to succeed beyond our classrooms. In closing, when values are clear, decisions are simply easy. Thank you, and I'm excited to meet you, speak with you, and hopefully lead for you.